Hi everyone, my name is Carla and this video is created to show you how to use WordLab Web. But first I wanted to talk to you about vocabulary. Vocabulary really can predict life success. As a matter of fact, there is such a strong connection between vocabulary size and life chances that research has spoken of it repeatedly. Students can learn up to 4,000 words a year, between 1 and 4,000, and this is done through direct instruction of words and using context clues from your reading. What WordLab Web does is it accelerates both of these processes. I'm going to take you now to the screen where you would go to start the program. This is what it looks like. To get here, you would go to www.wordlabweb. You don't need to write any of this down, as we'll be sending you emails, and there are also instructions within the program. You'll click on the student login, and you'll start out by creating a new account. You'll be given a school ID. This will come in an email, and you'll put in your name, password of your own choosing, and then put your first and last name in. Use capitals because these will show up in your report. It's always nice to see those capitals there, and you are registered. Okay, from this point forward, once you're registered, you'll just go straight to the login screen. I'm going to skip the intro just to speed things up for you. Here's your home page. First thing we're going to do is select a book that has word lists that you can learn. I'm going to start with the very basic, easiest books, and my favorite starter is Chatto's Kitchen. I recommend you start with that as well. I'm going to hit the go button, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to show the program what we already know. Now, if you don't remember the directions will always be up here. You can listen to them in both English or Spanish. And you can also listen to many other parts of the program in English and Spanish. For instance, the definition here. I'm going to say that the sound made by things rubbing together is a scrape. Now, scrape can have other meanings, but in this particular book, we're going to stick with the meaning that was used in this book. And I'm going to say this is slats. I'm going to say I don't know this word, and I don't know this word. I'm going to say, I think this one is yard, and I'm going to say this one is spiral, and a sudden sharp poking feeling. That's a twinge. Twinge can have meanings, other meanings as well, but that was the meaning used in Chatto's Kitchen. Now, there are my results. I only missed 2 words. Now, don't worry. If there are a lot of words you didn't know, and you missed all of these, you only have to pick 4 of the ones you want to learn. Of course, picking ones that are worth a lot of points is always a good idea. All right, now I'm going to become connected to these words by creating my own dictionary. It starts by selecting a picture. Which one of these pictures looks the most to me like reassure? Well, reassure means promising and trying to make certain of. He looks like he's promising. Any one of those pictures would be okay to choose. Now I have to look at the sentence. How is reassured being used in this sentence? I think it's an idea. Well, the program says that's not quite it. Now choose between thing and action, it says. Well, it's not a thing, so I'm going to go with action. The Chatto tried to do the action reassure. Okay. Now, Merlin, our dog here, has an opinion about these words. You are going to compare your opinion with Merlin's opinion. Both of your opinions are valid. But sometimes it makes you think when you notice other people or dogs think differently than you. So, reassured, is that a good feeling, not a good feeling, or just sometimes a good feeling? I'm going to say it is a good feeling. Is it a bad feeling? No. Can you buy it? That doesn't make any sense. I'm going to say no. Is it easy to see? Yes. Oh, well, Merlin said sometimes. You know, I can see why Merlin might have said sometimes. Yeah, that makes sense. Can it be heard? I'm going to say sometimes. Merlin says yes. I think my answer was better than Merlin's in this case. You could reassure someone without actually saying anything out loud. All right, does it happen today in this world? Yes. So we agreed with Merlin some of the time. I like this picture to go with suppress, which means keeping a secret. Looks like he's hiding behind his tennis racket. And how is suppress being used in the sentence? I'm going to say it's an action. I got it right the first time. This time, suppressed, is that a good feeling, keeping a secret? I'm going to say yes. Oh, Merlin says sometimes. I guess that could make sense. If you have to keep a secret because there's something scary, that would make sense. That would be not such a good feeling. Bad feeling, no. Oh, Merlin again says sometimes. Well, I guess that makes sense if he thinks it's a good feeling sometimes. Can you buy it? I'm going to say no. Can you see it? I'm going to say sometimes. Ah, Merlin and I agree there. Can you hear it? Maybe sometimes. Ah, occurs today. So we agreed some of the time. Now we're going to go ahead and create a dictionary. And this dictionary that I'm going to create will be saved in the program. I'm going to start with something really easy like other words for it. I can choose a word right out of the definition, and that is not cheating because right now I am just learning what this word means. Don't forget, I can choose English or Spanish to listen to these definitions. Here I'm going to say, well, I can do the opposite, and that would be not promise. And again, that's not cheating. That's just getting familiar and comfortable with the word. Now, if I was really stuck, I could also get some more ideas by clicking on the light bulb. On the next word, suppress, that I need to learn, I'm going to try to be a little braver and say, who does this? I would say a detective does this. Don't worry about spelling in here. You're just brainstorming, and it's only you and the person who you will choose to share your dictionary with that will see this. What are some examples of something that's suppressed? A secret code might be suppressed. And again, there's a light bulb if you run out of ideas. Okay, now we've created a dictionary. We're going to go ahead and try to play around with some of these words within sentences. Start right with completion. Now, again, there's always instructions here, but most people don't need to read them once they watch this video. I'm going to go look at my dictionary. There's my dictionary, the picture I chose, the ideas I put in. It says reassured means promised. So she started to laugh, but promised her giggles because that doesn't work. Her father promised her, reassured her, promised her over and over that the dog would not bite, but she was. So I'm going to look down here for a word that would fit here. Now I can listen to it and see if that makes sense.
Her father reassured her over and over that the dog would not bite, but she was still nervous.
It really helps to listen and see if it makes sense. And you can listen to it in Spanish if you're Spanish speaking to check to see if it makes sense that way too. She started to laugh, but would suppressed fit there? Let's look at the definition of suppressed. Kept the secret, stopped from being noticed. Started to laugh, but stopped her giggles from being noticed. I would say suppressed her giggles would work because everyone was staring at her. Good. So let's move on. I only have to do 4 of these to move on to the next set of activities, but I'm going to show all of them to you. And let's look at the definition of suppressed. You notice the word stopped is in the definition, and the word stopped is in this sentence too. She stopped her screen before anyone could hear it, so I bet you that's a good replacement. She suppressed her screen. Reassured is promised and tried to make certain of, and there's the word promised. I'm going to replace that. She reassured a little sister that she would be safe. And again, you can listen to it in Spanish and English. And now, true, false. When you reassure someone, you make them afraid. Well, I thought reassured meant promised and tried to make certain. So I don't think that's something doing something scary. I'm going to say that's false. If the sound is suppressed, kept the secret. It can be hard to hear. I would say that's true. Okay. And belong. Now, two of these blue words belong with the black word that we're learning. One does not belong. I'm just looking at these and guessing that yelled at needs to be thrown in the recycle bin. And now a clue's come up, and this clue tells me if these three words belong together for a certain reason. When someone was having a hard time, so you finish the clue that by putting in a word that makes sense to you, you might have done one of these things. You might have reassured, comforted, or listened to them. That makes sense, but you wouldn't have yelled at them. So I think yelled at does belong in the garbage. I'm going to put removed in here. If you didn't want someone to take something of yours, you might have done one of these things. You might have suppressed it or played with it. Well, if you play with it, I think that's what I want to get rid of, because if you didn't want them to take something, you would have suppressed it or removed it. That works better. So you can change your mind. Now, you're only scored on whether you put the right word in the recycle bin. Your word choices here sometimes match and sometimes don't, but you're not scored for that. Analogies. These two words either are going to have same meanings or opposite meanings, or one is going to be a cause of the other, or one is going to be a part of the other. In this case, reassure and comfort are pretty much alike. Let me just check. You're comforting someone when you're promising them something. So now I'm going to take finish and find a word that's kind of like finish, and that would be complete. Suppress and hold back are kind of alike. So let me find a word that's kind of alike. Watch. Same relationship between those two words. Now, if you get any of these wrong, you have as many do-overs as you want, and it keeps score here, and it only saves your best score, and it tells you how many repetitions you needed. Now we're going to do antonyms, and I'm going to look at these definitions again. Promised, reassured is promised, so didn't promise would be an opposite of reassured. And reassured also means tried to make certain of, so if you made uncertain, that would make a good opposite. And then, of course, I only have two left, so let's just double check anyway. Stop from being noticed, able to be noticed, let out a secret, kept the secret, yep, good opposites. Okay. Now we've moved on to affixes. These words use affixes that are part of other words as well. The affix or prefix here is re. Re is also used in the word remove or re-away, reflip, and return. Now, in this top row, one of these words is a normal word that you would see in the dictionary. Another one is a made-up word. I'm going to say remove is the real word, and down here I'm going to say return is the real word. Now, here's where I get to decide in my own head whether re adds meaning to move by saying you're moving back or you're moving again. My choice, either one could be right. I'm going to say it means moving back. And return, is it turning again or turning back? I'm going to say turn again. Okay? And either one could have been a good answer. Here, suppressed uses a prefix, SUP, that can be spelled different ways in other words. And now I have to find out which spelling matches here. A blank marine moves under the water. And that's going to be the word submarine. So I have to decide which of these, submarine or submarine, that doesn't sound right, or submarine, not quite. And of course I can listen to it. I like submarine. And submarine moves under the water, so that word under got my attention. I'm going to use under as the meaning for sub here. You often have to support something. Support wouldn't work, I know that. From underneath, I'm going to choose beneath because underneath makes me think of that. You'll notice there'll be clues in the sentences here. When you surrender, you give up to someone. I don't see a really good clue, so I'm going to have to use my own thinking a little more independently here. Let's say you go below someone when you surrender or give up to someone. All right. Now, I've done all the activities to those words, and I have to prove I really learned them, and I get to prove all over again that I really did know those words that I showed in the beginning that I knew, and that way I can get points for those words that I already knew as well. Reassured meant promise, scrape was a rubbing sound, slats are our boards, slinking is sneaking along, spiraled is twirled around, suppressed is held back, twinge is a sharp poking feeling, and a yard is a lawn area. Check my work, and 100% both on all the chapter words and on my specific study words, and I earned 18 Merlin points. And turns out I'm pretty fast too. This is the school's average speed, and I'm faster than average. Now I'm going to print my progress report so that I have a record and I can share it with whoever wants to know how I'm doing. It shows that I already knew 6 words. I studied 2. I learned those 2 words, so I learned 100% of my words, and it took me 6 minutes and 59 seconds to learn each of those words and get through all the activities. Now, if I stopped and had a long chat with my friend, the program would be timing me, and that would have shown up here as that I took a lot longer than that, but I kept right on going. Down here, it'll show if I struggled with any of these activities. If I had trouble with belong and I had to repeat it 2 or 3 times, that would have showed up. So as somebody who wanted to help me might be able to know then that I need help in that. Now I'm going to return to the library, and you can see here that there's the book I started. I can keep going on that, or I can choose a new book. Now, if I find that choosing books from basic choices list here is getting too easy for me and I just know all the words, then I should move on to intermediate choices. The basic choices are about 2nd through 5th grade. The intermediate choices are about 6th through 8th grade, and they include a lot of academic words. And then finally, the advanced choices are above 8th grade reading level. Down here, it'll list all the books that I've finished. And you see the words I've learned here, the total points I've earned here. I can go to my dictionary and select it and view the dictionary I created for those 2 words, print it out. But right now, I want to show you what it looks like for a student who's been doing the program for a while. We'll use Sam. And I'm going to skip the intro. Be sure to check that out later when you have time. Now, Sam has got Stone Fox in his book bag. He did not set a weekly goal this week, but if he had set a weekly goal of 15 words, and that's a lot to learn in 1 week, and saved it, and then learned all of 15 of those words in 1 week, and every Sunday night the program reports how many, if you learned your goal or not. And if Sam was set the highest goal in his school and achieved it, his name would be announced right over here. Now you notice that on Sam's home page, the dog Merlin has a leash. That's because Sam has earned enough points to take Merlin for a walk. And taking Merlin for a walk is a game that you can play. It's kind of like Mario Brothers. So that's just to give you a little break and a recognition for your hard work. Now, there's a star here because Sam has received a challenge from Merlin. That's because both of them have learned at least 10 words. Now, Merlin is challenging him for just 10 words. Merlin could have challenged him for quite a few more than that. For instance, if I want to challenge Merlin back and not even accept this challenge, but challenge him right back, I could challenge him for up to 30 of my words, and it would be 30 of my words against 30 of his words. We wouldn't be proving that we knew each other's words. We'd be proving we knew each of our own words. Or we could say, I can prove I know 25 of my words in just 3 minutes or 2 minutes or 1 minute. So you can send challenges and you can accept challenges. The star means that somebody sent you a challenge that you will want to take on if you like. Here are crossword puzzles that you can try that are just for fun. Here, you can print out your progress report if you forgot to print it out at the end of a chapter. You can print out all the words you've ever learned here. You can print out how you're doing with your goals. And let's take a quick look at Sam. You can see that Sam didn't get around to using the program that day, but then he forgot to set a goal here and learn 28 words. Too bad. He probably would have gotten recognized for that. Let's see, up here, Sam, it shows he learned 30 words. It gets a badge for every 25 words, which you can print out. And when you learn 50 words, you join a club, and everybody who's learned 50 words will be in this club, and then there's a 100-word club and a 150-word club, and on up. Up here, there's a star because Sam is part of the top 5 group as well. Okay, I think we've shown you the key parts to WordLab Web. One more thing I want you to know is that you can read the books as you learn the words, either before or after, but you don't have to. You can learn these words without reading the books. You learn the words a little better if you do read the book, but it's not necessary. The other thing we want you to know is that you should use this program at least 90 minutes a week, and don't do it for more than 30 minutes at a time. That'll just wear your brain out a little bit, but 3 times a week for 30 minutes would be just right. And be sure to share your progress reports so that you can be aware of how things are progressing. Thanks so much, and we look forward to your using WordLab Web.